Hi, my name is Arindam Mitra, and today I am going to speak about uh, Terraform use cases as a part of my speaker sessions in Gira Online Speaker LATAM 2023. Before I start, a small introduction about myself. My name is Arindam Mitra, and I am a Microsoft MVP in Developer Technologies. I specialize in Azure Cloud Solutions, DevOps. I blog, I speak, and my focus area is mostly on cloud adoption, architecture, automation, build and run. Before I begin with what I'm going to present, I just want to thank Hugo Barona and Ivan, who has given me this opportunity to present my work in the platform. Um, this is where I have prepared a small GitHub page that what I'm going to present. This is available in my GitHub. Um, the speaker session is mostly on Terraform use cases, and I said that Gira Online Speakers LATM 2023. This is a platform where I'm presenting this. This was supposed to be a live speaker sessions, but unfortunately I'll be on a vacation, and um, Ivan and Hugo Barona, they've been very kind enough to give me the opportunity to record my session beforehand and present to all your audiences. So a huge shout out to Hugo Barona and Ivan for giving me this opportunity. Um, as I said that this is where you can find my details. Refresh this page. Yes. So as I said, I'm a Microsoft MVP developer technologies, and then you can get in touch with me in dev.to where I blog. I'm also there in LinkedIn, Twitter, Sessionize, Facebook. The links are present here. These are my GitHub stats. This is basically my overall contribution to the community, how many blogs I've published, how many blog series are there, total number of speaker sessions, communities I'm supporting, pull request, issues raised, contributions, feedback, everything. I try to put together all my contributions in one page holder, and this is where you can find everything. So this is my overall stats on my blog series, my speaker sessions. Here you can see um, that on what communities I have presented. So everything is there with the recordings, link to the recordings, the name of the community, which community is based in which country. It's all there, pull request, issues, and everything. So I'm not going to take time to go through this, but feel free to visit. Also, I would request you to follow if you like my work. So as I said, this is my blog page where you can see that I have all my details out here, that how many blogs I have posted, my series, how many post views are there, all my stats and everything. You can find everything out here. Then I'm also there in my LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to connect if you feel that I can help you in some way. More than happy to do that. Apart from this, I'm also there in Twitter. So I only tweet about my blogs and everything. I'm not that active in Twitter, but whenever I'm publishing anything, when I'm doing any contribution to the community, I always put my post out here, so you can follow me here as well. And of course, the most important thing is my session eyes. Here in my session eyes, I normally keep my session eyes up to date, that what blogs I'm posting, what automation I'm doing, everything is here, and this is a placeholder from where basically I am applying for all the speaker sessions. Okay, cool. Uh, Perfect. So now, as I said, this is the page I created for my current speaker sessions, and my topic is Terraform use cases. The platform is again Gira Online Speaker Latin, and if you see that I have mentioned my Terraform use cases, and if you click on this link, you will land up into the series, which basically I have created, over my last year, learning Terraform, and whenever I'm learning something, and which is You can use live in production environment. I normally blog about it, so I have like close to 7 articles, which I found that it would be extremely useful to all the guys who are doing Terraform in the production environment. So this is what I'm going to present today. Um, then this will be live again on 2nd of August, and if you're watching, then it means that it has already been live. I try to keep my speaker session quite concise. I'll try to wind up in 45 minutes or less than 45 minutes, so that it's easy for people to listen to it and everything. This is also the banner which Ivan prepared for my speaker sessions, and here you can see the session is Terraform use cases. And these are the demo topics. So a few of the demos, I have already given it into previous user group, and those are the ones I will walk you through. But being conscious of time, I would request you that you can go through my YouTube videos, where I have actually ran the whole program in a very systematic way. I have demoed every bit and byte, and I would request everybody that if everyone can look into those YouTube videos, and if they have any questions, they can always write me back, and I will be answering them to the best of my knowledge. So this is the page which has every detail, and this is what I prepared for Gira online speakers, LATAM. Now coming to my Terraform series. So here I have 7 articles, which I said that I learned and everything, and this is what I'm going to present. So what I will do right now is that I have these demo topics here. So what I will do is I'll start from the bottom. So the first topic which I'll take is count and if-else, and how you are going to use count and if-else in Terraform and DevOps, because I feel that these are the two elements in Terraform which helps massively to make your Terraform modules dynamic. So let's directly jump into it. So I have my Azure subscription out here. So this is my Azure subscription, where I have my resource group, where I'm going to deploy everything. So this is basically my resource group. Okay, I will keep shifting myself here and there just so that you can see the screen. Then I have my pipeline. So my pipeline here, I have for each of the folders, I have my I've kept a folder. So this is my folder where I have kept my pipeline. So without even going through it, I will just simply run my pipeline, and then I will explain you what happened. Okay, so let's do it. What I will do is, I will just run a new instance, and if you see, I will just put it on the top maybe, or maybe on the left hand side. It's okay, but yeah. So if you see that I have a stage called plan and deploy, and then I will just run the pipeline. Okay, so when I'm running the pipeline, if you see here, you have this plan which is running at the moment, and then it will ask for the deploy. So as the time it's progressing, let's look into the article. So basically what I'm doing out here is I am using count and if-else, and with this count and if-else, what I'm doing is I'm trying to deploy an Azure managed Grafana. But here what I'm doing is I'm deploying 2 instances of Azure managed Grafana, and then I am also creating some AAD groups. But those AAD groups, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to iterate with count and if-else. So with count, I'm deploying the number of instances of Azure Managed Grafana, which is here in this case it's 2. Then I'm creating 3 AAD groups, and that AAD group, what I'm doing is one AAD group I'm assigning the RBAC as admin, the other Grafana admin, the other one I'm assigning it as Grafana viewer, and the third group I'm assigning it as Grafana editor. So 3. But now I have 2 instance, so I don't want to create 6 AAD groups, but I will use the same 3 AAD groups and the same RBAC pattern for both of the Grafana. So this is how I'm doing with count and output. And where I'm using if else is that there are certain configuration in Azure Managed Grafana which I want that if those are like null, then whatever value I am supplying as a part of if and else, that gets configured in the Grafana. So there can be elements where you feel that okay, I'm not confident what I should do and what I should configure, and this is where I'm using the if else. I will run through the code. I think here I'm pretty sure that the plan executed successfully, as you can see. But if I go to deploy, it is waiting for my approval. Okay, so you see that it is waiting for my approval. So what I'll do is I will just press OK, and I will approve it. And then let's see let's wait for the deployment to be over. Now, here, if you scroll down, the requirements is pretty much clear here, out here that what you need to do. Then here I have already put together my code. So if I click on so it will land you to the GitHub where I have everything. And now if I open this grafana.tf file, if I open this grafana.tf file, you see that the first thing it is doing is it is creating the Azure AD groups. Then it is creating the resource group under which the Grafana will be created. This is my code for creating the Azure Managed Grafana. And here you see that what I have done is like I'm using the length where I'm counting it, and then I'm using the count.index where I'm iterating that okay, how many Azure Managed Grafana instance you want to create. And here you see that I have a lot of configurations in Azure Managed Grafana. Those are zone redundancy, API key, deterministic outbound IP, public network access enable. Those are the things. And here what I'm saying is if it is not equal to null, so then just apply this value. So if somebody is like I am using this condition, so it is like predefined. So you are actually enforcing that what should be the correct configuration, and this is what I am doing with the if else. Then you come down below and you see that what I am doing again is that I have only 3 AAD groups, but if like today I have 2 Azure Managed Grafana. Now tomorrow if I'm having I have to deploy 5 Azure Managed Grafana. You cannot keep on creating Xylo groups per Grafana. Okay, so you cannot create like that. What I do is like I'm creating those 3 AAD groups, but I am then iterating those groups for all the Grafana instance it is creating. So one of the groups will have the Grafana admin RBAC. Another one will have Grafana editor. The third one would have the Grafana viewer RBAC. And then I'm just iterating those Grafana instance which is getting created by capturing it in my output. So here you see that this Azure RM Grafana, and this is the name of my the resource block, and then I'm putting the star.id, which means that number of instance I'm creating on the top, those are getting again added as a count, and then I am using the count.index, and every time that group is exactly attached to the correct RBAC, and this is how I'm doing. And here I'm just passing the object ID. So now this is the code. If I go to the grafana.tf-vars file, you see that here I am taking those AAD groups as an array. I'm also taking the usernames, which will be added as the owner of these AAD groups, also as an array. And here I am taking the Grafana number of instances you want to take. So from here, they are counting that, okay, how many instances I'm creating. So this happens, and when it is created and when it is capturing the output and everything, when it is capturing the output, then I'm taking the object ID first as 0, 1, and 2. This is what I'm doing here. If I scroll down here, you see this is the 0, this is the 1, and this is the 2. So for when it is iterating, it means that for the first one, it will iterate and it will put, sorry, this is the Grafana instance name. So for this one, when it will happen, when it gets created, what will happen is, like, the admin will go, the admin RBAC would be attached to this group, the editor will this one, viewer will this one, based on the array index which I am pointing. So that is how I am doing. Now the group, the Grafana, everything I'm creating, but for these users, these are existing users, and that is why I have created a data block. So that Terraform knows that these are existing blocks, these are existing users. I'm just attaching it into as an owner of those groups. Now coming back to this, now my pipeline got completed. Now what I will do is I will go here, and if I refresh it, you see that AM Grafana RG got created. And what exactly we did, let's check it out. So the first thing is here, Grafana 4 and 5 I created. Perfect. So I created 2 Grafana instances. Now if I go here, and then if I go to my IAM, because I assign RBAC as well, if you click on role assignment, and then if you click on the all scope and make it as this resource, you see that here I have admin AAD group, editor AAD group, and viewer AAD group, all related to Grafana, and this has been attached to Grafana admin, editor, and viewer. Okay. Now if I go to the same one, if I go to 5 and I check the same thing again in the RBAC, if I do the same exercise again, then you see that I have exactly the same configuration as Grafana admin, Grafana editor, Grafana viewer, same group and same thing, which means that I'm not creating groups and assigning RBAC per Grafana instance, but I'm using the same group over and over again, no matter how many Grafana instances are getting created. Okay. Now the final thing about this one is, like, you open any of them, and then if you click on the configuration one, these are the one which I'm enabling zone redundancy, API key, outbound IP, everything which you see as an if-else block, everything is done here. So this is how this is how I am using the if-else block. So the code out is here, if you want to use it. So this is the main block where I'm providing providing the details of the Terraform providers. This is the output block, which is capturing the Grafana ID and the Azure AD groups which you are creating. So those object IDs are getting captured here because this is what I'm going to use it. Then you have the variables I have defined. This is the main configuration file which has everything, which has count and ifelse, and this is the TFR files, which has all the key value pair defined out here. So feel free to run this code as I showed you that my code ran perfectly, successfully, and everything. This is what I wanted to show you. I have things deployed out here, and this is the repository where you can go and find everything. Also, like whatever is written here in this blog, every detail, every bit and byte what is written, it is exactly the same here in my GitHub repository README file. So you can find the same details out. So my blogs are basically version controlled, and this is how I'm doing it. So it has all the details. So either you can read it from GitHub, or you can go to my dev.to and you can follow this. Perfect. So this ends to the first demo. So if I go back to my speaker session page, so this is what I wanted to present, the count and the if-else block. Now the next topic which I'm going to present is Terraform AZ API. So everyone knows that that Azure, when it releases some services and everything, then before AZ API, excuse me, so before AZ API, it was very difficult because then we have to wait for the providers that when Terraform is making the provider for the new services and everything. With AZ API, it relatively became very very easy. So we don't have to wait. So this was one of the argument between Terraform and Biceps, that Biceps is like Azure native, and since Bicep is Azure native and everything, so um, it's like very easy that as soon as Azure services are getting released or updated or there is any feature enhancement, Biceps is available easily. But for Terraform we have to wait, so we have to somehow manage with PowerShell or the AZ CLI and other things to make sure that our code is running together with Terraform. But with the AZ API, it made our life easy because then we don't have to wait for the providers to be available. If the provider is not available for the respective services, then we can use the AZ API. And this is what I am going to present to you. So I will close this part because this demo is over, and now let's go back to the series. Now I scroll up, and this is the series which I was talking about, AZ Managed Grafana with Terraform, AZ API and DevOps. So what I did is I'm again taking the same example, Azure Managed Grafana. Okay, but this time when I'm deploying, I'm simply trying to deploy an Azure Managed Grafana. Now, we already saw it in my previous demo that we have the Terraform, provider for Managed Grafana. This is now available. But when I was experimenting with AZ API long months back, at that time the provider was not available, and then I thought that hey, it's a good use case to see if AZ API actually works, and it will also be a learning that how I can use AZ API. So this is how I started this. I also presented this in Journey to the Cloud last year during the Christmas session. I have this. Feel free to go through the YouTube video. There is a YouTube video, and you can have a look. But I will just show you, and I'll just tell you that how this AZ API works and how you have to do it. A little bit information about AZ API, that what it is doing under the hood. It is basically a layer on the top of Azure Arm REST API. So it's basically at the end of the day using the Azure Arm REST API. So this is what I have written out here, which is highlighted. It is AZ API documentation is also like I have kept it here. If I right click and open it, it will land exactly into AZ API documentation. So this is something which you can go through. Then I wrote the use case that at that time it was not available. Azure RM provider was not available and everything. So I just thought that it will be. So the requirement is pretty much here, that what you require before you want to start it. The code is here, so let's go to the repository and then look into the code. Again, the code is here, and as a part of my README file, entire content is there. It's similar to my blog, though there's no difference. Feel free to check my blog or to my GitHub README, it's all the same. Now, here, it's very simple. I'm not going through the pipeline because it's a standard Terraform pipeline with Azure DevOps. So it's all good. I have 2 stages, plan and deploy, and this is how I'm doing it. Now, when you see the first thing which we see is how I have to write the main file, and when I'm doing anything related to AZ API, you have to basically provide the AZ API provider. So this is very important. Rest is all good. You have to give the Terraform version, you have to give the backend state file locations and everything, what you want to create, Azure item, everything is okay. But this is the addition. So the first thing is, how do I come to know about this? I'm new to AZ API. How would I know that this is required? So the first thing is, when you go to the documentation, you see the screenshot which says that you click on this use provider, and it gives exactly that how you have to use it. I took it and I used it. Okay. Now this is the configuration part. that how I'm going to structure my AZ API. So I know how to write a Terraform, I know how to write a modules and everything. I know how to make the modules dynamic, but AZ API is a little bit different, because the JSON code is embedded into your Terraform, and at the end it is just using the Azure REST API as we see it. So here you see that this is the resource block, and how you have to provide a type, you have to provide a name, parent ID, and everything how you have to do. But when I see the type, it is showing Microsoft dashboard, Grafana, blah blah things and everything. And the first thing it strikes to me is that hey, how am I supposed to know this? And these things, all the JSON code. So the first thing is very simple. That this whole block is available here. So if I click on this one, um, Terraform registry, you see that it is actually given here, that how you have to use it. So the whole construct is actually given here in the documentation of Terraform. So this part is okay. Now, but it still doesn't answer me the question that how am I supposed to get here? So the first thing is I saw that AZ API resource, so you can find it in this link. Then the JSON code body definition. So this is the part where you see that it gives you that how you are supposed to use the JSON part. So here if you see that when you go to this particular link, then you search for manage Grafana. If I go here and then I go to M, so I scroll down, and I go to manage Grafana. If I click on manage Grafana, let's follow the screenshot, and then I click on create because I'm about to create it. Okay, so I click on Grafana and I click on create. Okay, so when I click on create, what happens? So it happens that the first thing is I get to see that what all things I can put it as a request body. So you see that you can get that what you need to provide as in the part of the body. So here the first thing I pointed out is like okay, the first thing that how am I supposed to get that whole type which I saw it in the code. Okay, so you go to the Grafana create examples. Okay, and when you scroll down a little bit, okay, so if I scroll down here, so you get this whole thing, Microsoft dashboard, Grafana, and everything with the API version. This is exactly the thing which I was talking about here regarding this one, how you're supposed to know this. This is how you get it. This is what I explained it here. With the API versions and everything, and then is the body which I'm trying to show you. So this is the most important part. It's not the part that how you're going to how the things are running out here. So the first important part is the provider, that you have to put an additional provider, which is this one. The second thing is that you have to know that how the block looks like. That you will get in the AZ API resource providers available in this link. And then in order for you to use this JSON encode, that what you need to include and how it is, you get it in the Azure REST API reference documentation, including the type, that what you're going to use it. So this is the most important part, and this was my learning, that I took it step by step, that how I'm going to define an AZ API resource for Azure, when the provider is not available, or maybe I feel comfortable that going forward I should have a set of modules on AZ API for different resources, so that someday if the provider is not available, I can still use it with Azure RM REST API. So saying this, let's see that if the code works. Okay, so I go to the pipeline again. I go to all, and I have an AZ API, if I am correct. Let me quickly find it out, where I have deployed Azure. Yeah, so this is the AZ API one, and this is what I am going to run again. So run the pipeline, and I will simply run it. Okay, so this is what it is going to deploy. So we'll see that this whole code which I deployed it's just going to create. So if you see in the code part, if I scroll down up and if you see the TFRs, so basically my TFRs is going to create a Grafana RG and a AM Grafana test. That is what it is going to create. So it's still running, so it will take some time, but we can pause for some time to get it complete. In the meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll just close this documentation and then I will keep myself ready for my next part, which is breaking Terraform state leaves and Terraform plan GUI. So I'll be completing these two together because why I will tell you, but I will take these two topics together. So first, let me complete this one. So I think it is waiting for my approval. Yes, it is. So okay, I approve it, and then it starts applying. So I will make sure that my resources and everything is available. Yeah. Okay, try again this here. Perfect. So let's see out here. So it is getting applied. The configuration is valid. Cool. So you see that there are two resources which is getting created. One resource is the resource group. Another is the Azure Managed Grafana, which I am deploying with AZ API. It will take like less than a minute, I hope, for this to be completed. But we can quickly see if the resource group, yes. So Grafana RG got created, and you see that AM Grafana test is getting created. So this is what it is getting created. So yeah, so this like it can keep on running. We can come back a little later and we can check that if it falls successfully. Now, the next topic is as I said that Terraform plan and DevOps GUI, and how you're breaking the Terraform state leaves using Azure DevOps. So I will take this topic together and I'll show you that how it works. So the first thing I'll take the topic which is Terraform plan and DevOps GUI, and this one I had created one without template, which is this one. And the other one is with templates. So I'm using the Azure DevOps templates, YAML templates to build both of them. So I can run either one of them, and you can find. So let's see. It's very simple. You know that the Terraform plan, when we are running it, you are seeing it over the console. But with the extension which I'm using, it's Charles Zip. So who has built this extension, and with this extension you can see the Terraform plan in the DevOps GUI. So in the DevOps GUI, in the graphical user interface, you are going to see the whole plan instead of seeing it in the console or the pipeline results. So that is the unique part of it. So I have three stages: publish, build, and deploy. And in the publish part, it is basically publishing my whole plan there. But the only thing here is two things. If you have a Terraform extension, a Microsoft provided Terraform extension, and then you have also an extension from Charles Zip, who has built this whole Visual Studio Marketplace extension. If you have both the extensions installed in your DevOps organization, then you have to make sure that you are, when you're putting the action, you're putting the task, that what task it will be doing, you have to put the whole path. Otherwise, there will be a conflict that which extension to use. This is what I explained here. So all the details are here, and the most important part I'm going to show you is this part. If I am correct, or I missed it out. Yes, so this is the part. If you are not doing that, if you are not providing the full name, then you get this error. So you see the path I have already mentioned out here, that how you're supposed to use it. And alternatively, you can also use this. This is one thing. And second is, the plan only gets published in the DevOps GUI when there is a change in infrastructure. So it can be a change, it can be a new deployment, but if it is refreshing the state file and it finds that there is no infrastructure change, there will be no plan published in the GUI. So these are the two important things which you have to understand. The rest regarding what what is the requirement and where to find the extension, how to do it, everything is available out here. Feel free to read it. There's also a video available which I presented in Azure Back to School last year, where I ran the code, but I'm going to run the code now as well. So this is how I'm going to show that how it works. Now, if I see the previous pipeline, it all got successful, which means that my AZ API definition, which I've created, it worked, and I'm successfully able to deploy, even if a provider is not available in Terraform. Maybe in future, something else is coming up, and you can use this just to refactor the code and run it. Cool. Now we move to the next topic. As I said, this is the one, and I will open the GitHub because my code is there. So this is my code where you can find everything. So if you see here in the code, you have the publish plan, where I'm publishing the plan, then I'm building it, and then I am deploying it. Okay. Here in this example, what I'm doing is I'm just deploying a resource group and a log analytics workspace. Okay. Let's jump into the code. I go to the pipelines again. I look for the folder, pipeline folder, that where it is. It should be by the name publish TF pipeline. I click on this one, and I think I have to configure my pipeline again. I don't know what happened, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. So existing YAML pipeline, I will just check the publish part. Let me put it here. Good. So if I look into it should be publish. Yeah, I'm just looking into which is the one. Okay, so let me do it the other way around. I will go here and I will go to the repo, and I have this publish publish GUI one. Okay, and now what I'll do is I click on this one, so then I get the whole path. Okay, I will copy this path, and what I will do is I will go to the pipelines, all, and I will go to my publish TF pipeline here, and I will click on this one, new pipeline, Okay, I will go to the Azure DevOps repository out here, YAML, existing pipeline, and I will just paste it here. You see that I can get, instead of me searching there, I just continue. Once I continue out here, then I will save it. Okay, once I save it, then what I will do is I'll just quickly rename it, and I'll just put it as version 1.0. Okay, let me do this. Perfect. So now I have this one. Now I run it. Okay, and when I run it, you see that I have my 3 stages: publish, plan, build, and deploy. And what I'll do is I'll simply run the pipeline. I hope it works, because I don't know what happened to my pipeline. So let's see. So it is publishing. Perfect. So if I go here and I look into Terraform plan, you see that I get my login RT workspace, whatever it is going to deploy, my resource group and everything. So which means that the plan is published. Now if I click on this one, it is now building, which is like, it is building, it will copy the files to the artifacts to be deployed and everything. Okay. So I'm not going to continue the deployment. What I will do is I will now, as I said, that I will now show you that how the Terraform state file, breaking the lease of the state file. You remember that I said that I'm going to club it together. So now when it is get deploying, what I will do is first let me approve it so that it starts. Okay, I approve it. Now when I approve it, it will start the deployment in some time. And once it starts applying, what I will do is I will cancel the pipeline, because, okay, so now it has started to apply. Let it start applying, because once it starts applying, so you see that it has started to create those resources, and it finished actually, without even giving me a chance to do it, but it's all good. What we can do is we can run the pipeline again. So this got deployed. Now if I go here, then you see that I have another resource group, which is AM test RG, and this is how the log analytics space are getting deployed. So this is how my pipeline, here, if you go here, if you see the Terraform plan, and it is actually showing you everything. This is basically the everything. Now let me go back to the part where I said that I will show you the Terraform state file. Now if you go here where I'm actually storing my Terraform state file, which is in the TF, this resource group, I have a storage account, and this is a storage account where I am having a container, and this container has a Terraform container, and within this I have this. Now most of the time what happens is when you are running a pipeline and you cancel it somehow, the state which is now available, it changes into leased, and during the lease state you cannot redeploy, because you have to first break the Terraform lease file. So once you break the lease, the status changes to broken, which means that you can then again rewrite the state file. So when such situation happens, then again you have to have the access to the storage account, and when you have the access to the storage account, you should have the required rights to break the lease and rerun your pipeline, or maybe manually run the commands of Terraform anytime. This becomes very, very cumbersome, and this is where what I did is I created the break lease. So my pipeline basically asked for you the required things, which I will show you, but I will not run it, because it's just an explanation which I want to give to you. So if you see my pipelines out here, If I click on all and you see the break release, if I find it, because I have a lot of pipelines, yes, so this is the one. So if you click on this one and if you click on run, you see that what information it is asking for. So it will ask for you the resource group under which the storage account is residing. Then it will ask you the storage account name. It will account the storage account container name and the state file name. So it will require, and why it is asking is because before running it, it will validate every single thing. And this is what is here written. If you click on this one, if you scroll down, and if I open the GitHub repo, so you see that in my break release, it will basically check every single thing that, if it is available. So I have this whole if else block where you have every single details, checking it. So if you are giving any arbitrary name, or if any, which doesn't exist, your pipeline will not run. So this is the second thing. So coming back to the whole series, so these are the certain important parts which I wanted to show you. Regarding the map Azure DevOps runtime variables and, can we deploy Azure B2C using Terraform? These are very, very interesting use cases. I have, explained them, and these are available in my YouTube video. Being conscious of time, I cannot run every details, but this is a series which I plan to expand. And because these are based on the real-time use cases, which I every day, when I'm working in my organization in Terraform, I keep on stumbling upon these things, and I keep on adding them. So these are all available out here. So if you see in the Gira online page which I created, I have put together that this one is available in one of the things. If you right click and open, it will open it in the YouTube video. For some reason here, I have to sign in, but it is available out here. So everything is there. I think Terraform Plan GUI, it's also available. I will put some link out here, but all details are here. Please use it, and if you like it, please follow it in my GitHub, which is this. And I hope that you like my session, and feel free to contact me in any channel, whether be it in Twitter or LinkedIn, in Dev.to, GitHub. Follow me, and I would appreciate all the support I get. Again, before I sign out, I will quickly thank the Gira Online Speaker Latin 2023, Hugo Verona and Ivan, for giving me the opportunity to present my work. Thank you so much. See you. Bye.